shapely joints, a stooped back, sparse white hair, her face creased with more than 70 years of living. Worst was the reflection of her expression, her native aggression watered down by fear. The fear of an old lady living alone, the fear of the vulnerable, the fear that someone was outside watching her. She should have closed the curtains earlier. Her eyes were caught by a movement outside. Too big for a cat or a dog. Taller, less graceful, white-faced. She tried to stand up, too quickly, and fell back in the chair with a gasp of pain. She should have been slower, taken her time, as Dr. Edmonds was always telling her. "Take your time, Nan. What's there to hurry for?" He didn't know that taking time was the luxury of the young. For her, time was running out as fast as the sand in an egg timer. Faster than she knew. Faster even than nature intended. Nature would have allowed her the slow slide towards death. He would not. She reached for a walking stick, varnished blackthorn, stout and strong. It provided her with some small measure of confidence, a delusion of security. She thought with it she would be able to defend herself. It was some use. With it she could stand, take the vital couple of steps and reach the window. Sharply, she snapped the brocade curtains almost together. She did the same to the other 2 windows. Then, with a feeling of relief, she dropped back in her chair, exhausted by the effort. Robbed of his view, Christian Patterson padded away from the window and crossed the garden towards his front door. Nan always mumbled while she worked, the habit of a woman who had lived alone for years. Sometimes she uttered bits of well-known poetry, a few bars of songs, acerbic comments to herself about other people, or acid rejoinders to the radio commentators. Tonight it was the turn of the Lady of Shalott, an old favourite. "And so she weaveth steadily, and little other care hath she." She liked the image it threw out, the picture she longed to portray of a young, graceful woman bent over her needlework. Suddenly she looked up, her eyes threatening to flood. More than 50 years too late. And Sir Lancelot? Would he come riding by? She shivered. God forbid. But he would come one day. He would come. And like the Lady of Shalott, it would prove her downfall. The mirror would crack. She bent back over the canvas, stretched across a wooden frame to keep the pattern taut, the stitches neat and even. It was for the church, meant to replace the top of one of the threadbare footstools. People didn't bother about the church nowadays. Folk would interpret the work as they wished. Nan Lawrence's face twisted in angular spite. They would look at it and see one thing when she knew it represented something quite different. And when she rested her knees on it while she prayed, it would be a fitting symbol of her dominance. What she could not know was that this design, colourful as it was, would soon become even more colourful. Drops of scarlet would rain randomly to alter the picture. But while she would be the one to apply the colour, it would not be of her design. And in time the piece of canvas would be studied. But it would never reach the church. She leaned back to appraise it. It was almost finished. He would be... No, he would not be pleased, but he would be surprised. Yes, surprised. It was an understatement. She felt desperately tired. Her chin dropped. Her mutterings changed to snores. Joanna Piercy had no such problems. She was wide awake, replete and mellow with thought, wine and food. She sat back on the sofa, listening to some soft pop classics, the very best of love. She stretched her arms above her head. "Well," she challenged Matthew with a sideways grin, "am I a good cook or not?" He was still sitting at the table, a half-empty wineglass in his hand. He returned her grin, put his glass down and answered with mock gravity. "No, not good, Joe," he said. She stood up in one swift, graceful